UK Agile Awards 2013. I am with the MVP of Agile in 2013, Managing Director of IndigoBlue, Rob Smith. Rob, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You look a little surprised. You surprised by the award tonight?
I am surprised. I'm surprised and delighted. So yes, slightly overwhelmed, and I also feel like an Oscar winner. You see them collect their award and keep looking at it. I'm quite overwhelmed.
Well, it's a deadly weapon, I think.
It is. And I saw it earlier and thought, I want one of those.
Well, now you have one. And listen, here's the question, especially because I'm sure you see such a broad disparity of application of the discipline, successes, maybe a failure or two. What is it that is probably the most critical component to adopting the risk that the methodology perceives to mean, and then making it work for an organization, one that hasn't tried it and might be afraid of trying it?
One is a very difficult thing to say. We've heard a lot about people tonight, and people are very important. I think the number one thing is getting the control and governance right, because you have to be able to integrate with the rest of the business, and the business still expects the standard questions of what am I going to get, when am I going to get it, how much am I going to pay for it, and we need to be able to answer those questions within an iterative incremental approach and add that value.
So I have two questions, one about talent, which I'll get to in a moment, but I'm also curious about the metrics that the business wants to see. I'm sure they want to see performance, and they want to see reporting and the analysis of how the application of the discipline is working. What do you typically do for those that you work with that want to see those metrics?
I think it's very difficult, actually. The key thing that one tries to put in place is a reference model for size, for estimation size, that one can play across the portfolio. And that then allows you to have a reference measurement of velocity, which works well. It's not a perfect measurement, but it's probably better than anything that's been there in IT space before.
Do you see a satisfaction there, almost a sigh of relief almost, because the velocity metric is fairly easy to understand, right? You don't need to have a PMP or whatnot to understand that. So does the simplicity of the metric of velocity help accelerate the adoption?
I think it helps enormously, and it does accelerate. It is a problem in some cases because it's not a complete metric and you need other things around it, but as a starting point, it is extremely valuable and does accelerate the speed of adoption, I would say. I've certainly had, if I can go on for a while, I remember working with Specsavers many years ago, and the IT director there, Michel Kahn, saying, it's fantastic, I can look across a range of projects within my portfolio and immediately look at the velocities, and I can see where teams are underperforming, and I can also see improvements over time.
It's actually a good segue, because I was going to ask you about talent. Amy Thompson was just here, who won Best Agile Coach and Mentor, and she talked about the fact that once the methodology is deployed, that it changes the way you evaluate new talent onto the team. Would you reflect that? And if so, what would you do to evaluate the right new members of the team?
I think the great thing about Agile is it is very, very team-oriented, and therefore the talent within the team becomes self-selecting. I started working in the Agile space before Agile existed, towards the end of the 90s, and we were downsizing at the time. It was a very difficult period. It was the end of the dot-com boom, and the players that we retained and the ones that we put in the core teams were self-identifying because the team knew who the best players were. And also we used that in recruitment as well. We let the teams recruit their own people.
Very good, I like that. And once again, we've been with the MVP of UK Agile in 2013, Mr. Rob Smith, the Managing Director of IndigoBlue. Rob, thank you so much for your time and congratulations.
Thank you.